Welcome back to Vidyapaka. Here I am again with a very recent case which happened between a student and her institute, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. This case, let us purely see it from academic perspective and knowledge perspective and not with any emotions attached to it. So why delay further? Come, let us begin today's case, that is Risha Lodha versus the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So before getting into detail and understanding the letter of the judgment given by the court, let us understand the crux of it. So what exactly happened during this pandemic, especially the 2020, as all of us know, there was a lot of chaos, especially between the students and the institutes, universities. This applies across. The institutes and the universities were under tremendous pressure whether to conduct the exams or not. Even from their perspective, it is always a decision which involves many lives. So even they should be concerned whether to do or not to do. Both of the decisions has an impact. In the same way, from the student's perspective, the day whether it will come or not, whether do we have to prepare or not, and the mental agony whether to keep our minds clear, even that is also a difficult part. So this case happened between two such decisions. So there was a girl called Risha Lodha, we'll be referring to as the student going forward, between her and the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. When there was a decision taken by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India whether to conduct the exam, and the exams, as and when the pandemic started increasing, the exams kept postponing. And there was a time where they said that we are going to conduct the exam in one attempt. And this girl, in the pressure of the exams and the pandemic and whatever was going around, she wrote an email to the institute expressing her opinion and expressing whatever was happening in her mind. With that email, the institute got offended, and this entire case is revolving around these two conversations. And later on, this came to the court, and what came as a decision and a judgment is what is our case today. So the parties to the dispute, that is in between whom this case happened, is between Risha Lodha, the petitioner, and the respondents, that is Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and the Deputy Secretary Examination (ICAI). So petitioner is a person who always files the case. Respondent is always a defendant on whom the case is filed. Represented by is always the lawyers. So this case, the original court's order is around 20 odd pages. For our easy understanding, I have tried to retain the crux of it, and I have maintained whatever is required from a discussions perspective. The judgment copy, I have given it in the description below. You can download it and have it for your reference. To understand this case better, let us first understand more about this course. The CA course is categorized into three levels. One is called as CA Foundation, the next one is called as CA Inter, the third one, the last course, is called as CA Final. So a student has to go through all these phases one by one. So in this case, the student was eligible to write her CA Inter, and she was due to give her exam in May 2020 attempt. Now, because of COVID, the May 2020 attempt got cancelled, and automatically, whoever were eligible to write the May 2020 attempt, they were automatically postponed the exams to November and December 2020 attempt. The institute also gave an option to the students that if you think that you're not yet ready for the exam, you had an option to opt out. Opt out is you had an option to drop out of the exam. For such people, there was another attempt in the immediate Jan 2021, which the students could have chosen. So this was an option given by the institute. Now the institute decided to conduct the exam in the November and December 2020. Now, with all the pressure in mind, the student decided to write an email to the institute expressing her thoughts based on the scenarios, whatever is happening around. She said that when, if at all the exams are conducted, then how are we going to complete it? What if there is an infected student who comes inside the class? What about the many lives involved in conducting this exam? And she also advised the institute that the more better picture would be the all the exams moving towards a online model, and said that she also had expressed certain queries. She asked, what if I did not opt out and I appeared in the first two papers and in between the student opts out? So, how will the institute get to know why did the student opt out? What if the student was sick? Now, what about the people whoever attended the exam for the first 2 days? What happens to them? So, like that, there were many queries also for the student, which she expressed everything in her opinion, and she addressed this email to the office bearers of the institute and to the president of the institute. For your reference, I've also put the email which she had sent to the institute in your screen. Yes, a couple of words or lines could have been avoided, but still, yes, it is because of that moment or that heat of the moment or the pressure is what made her write certain words or language. Now, immediately after the email incident on 21st November 2020, both the student and her father were infected of COVID. So this left no option to her rather to opt out of the exam. For people who opt out of the November attempt, they were automatically permitted to attend the exam in the January attempt. Accordingly, the student appeared in the January exam and she wrote all the exams without any problem. But on 22nd February 2021, she received an email from the Deputy Secretary of Examinations ICAI saying that her exam results were put on hold, and they asked for an explanation that why we should not take any disciplinary proceedings against you. On the same day, the student also replied to that email to the institute saying on what circumstances she had to write that email. In this email, you can see that the student had written an apology letter. She pleaded for guilty that she agreed in what tone, whatever she had written an email, it was actually out of the pressure what was going on in this pandemic. She also said and used words like, I was ashamed of myself to write an email of this type. Now, the institute and the student exchanged some emails, and in spite of the apology letter, on 7th of March, the student received an email saying that she would have to personally appear in Jaipur on 10th of March to take these proceedings forward. As per the email, the student even went to the place at the set time and date uh, at Jaipur to listen to these proceedings. Now, after the entire hearing was done, the student was also kept uninformed of the outcome of the proceedings. Now, on the date of the result, that is 26th March 2021, when the student searched for her result, the result did not come. Instead, it said that the result of this particular student is cancelled, and the caption said that because she did adopted for unfair means. Now, immediately on 5th of April 2021, she filed a petition in the court asking for justice. Now, the court also directed the institute that on the date of hearing, you have to get the result of the student in an sealed envelope letter. Now, usually in these cases, what happens is that first the court will open the envelope and look into the result. Only if it is a pass, the court will take this case ahead. If it is a failure, then definitely the court has no substance to take this case forward because the result itself is a failure. So, in this case, especially, the lawyer and the student both requested and insisted the court to first take the arguments. They wanted to hear both the parties. And if the court is convinced with the hearing and the arguments what the student has, only then they ask the court to declare the result of this particular student. If not, they were okay even the court not to declare the result itself. Now, sealed envelope which has the results is still resting there while the argument begins. Now, the petitioner counsel, that is the student representative, he pointed out that, Your Honor, The examination committee, first of all, didn't have jurisdiction. Jurisdiction here means power. They did not have power to cancel the result of the student at all. Now, when they were referring to two main regulations here, that is Regulation 41 and Regulation 176 of Chartered Accountant Regulation 1988, the main crux of these two regulations is that examination committee will have power to take any action on a student only when the student misbehaves or disorderly behavior of a student which happens during the time of the exam and around the premises of examination center. So this was the first argument which the petitioner had. Now the second one is that what else did the institute want? The petitioner, she pleaded for guilty. Now, being a statutory body, what else did the institute want? The council, appearing on behalf of the institute, they first pointed that the student should have come to the council for a review of decision which has been given by examination committee instead of coming to the court and filing a writ. So this writ in court is not maintainable. And the second point which the council of the institute pointed is that the email, whatever the petitioner had written on 20th November 2020, that email mainly revolves around the exam. So the institute, that is the examination committee, very well had the jurisdiction in taking this particular decision. The court looked into these specific things which have categorized as court findings in reaching its decision. So the first one was the court first asked its question that the email which the student had written on 20th November was specifically addressed to the office bearers and to the president of the institute. Why did the examination committee come in between and they replied to this particular email? So it was over and above its jurisdiction because it was nowhere party to it. The second one, after going through the email written by the student, the court hardly found anything abusive or derogatory in that email. Not only that, on the contrary, the court felt that whatever was the decision or whatever is the consequence which is given by the institute to the student was highly high rated or overbearing. What do you mean by that? Where one person act towards another without any courtesy or feelings towards them, or where one person undersees another. The third one, the court questioned the institute asking that the student asked or repented for guilt. So what more did the institute expect out of the student? The court also stated that with great power comes great responsibility. This institute was a statutory body specially formed for uplifting the vulnerable students. Such an institute should not use the power against the students itself. And the fourth thing where the court pointed was that on 10th of March 2021, where the student was called for a personal hearing, the student was not even communicated the outcome of that particular hearing, which was again a wrong thing. The court also found that the respondent's point on the student had to first approach the council instead of coming to the court held that when the committee has exceeded its power and acted arbitrarily, the court cannot tell the student to go and submit this particular thing for a review with council. As her fundamental rights itself was violated, she can very well come to the court and file a writ petition. Now, the court felt that the action of the examination committee towards the student was vindictive in nature. The word vindictive means revengeful. Now, why did they use this here? Is that once the student has emailed on 20th November 2020 that whatever the email which started all this, for that, the institute had also replied saying that if you do not stop writing such emails to the institute or any person connected, if you do not stop it, we will be taking an appropriate legal action against you. So this language is so clear that if at all the student does it in the future, institute is going to take such steps on the student. But after that email, the next email she had wrote is the only apology email to the institute. In between, she had not written even a single letter. So, which is clear to the court that the institute did not follow its own words and letter, whatever it had sent it in an email. That is, the the email which was written by the institute was a clear warning, and they exceeded that and they took a further action. The institute, when it sent an notice to the student asking for her personal representation in Jaipur, it had only asked for an explanation why, as to the institute should not take any disciplinary proceeding against the student. But it ended up canceling her result. Now, this particular act was found arbitrary by the court. Why? Because it violated two laws. The first one, it violated the principle of natural justice. That is, you should always give an opportunity to the other person of being heard, that you are going to take such step and why I should not take such step, you can justify it. That option was not given here. The second one was that the Supreme Court, in one of the case called as Gorkha Security Services versus Government of NCT, it clearly laid down that when one person wants to take any extreme step on another person, you have to clearly indicate what step you are going to take against such person in the show cause notice you have sent to that party. So in this case, institute had never mentioned about cancelling the result to this particular student, which again was held arbitrary. The next one was that, as discussed earlier, as per regulation 41 and regulation 176, it is very clear that the examination committee can take any action against the student only if there is a misbehavior in the exam hall or around the exam hall during the exam dates. Neither did she do anything near the or around the exam hall, or did she wrote anything on the days of that particular exam. So clearly she did not violate both these things which is given in the clause of the regulation of chartered accountants itself. So after all the arguments, the final prayer from the student was that is the petitioner was that she requested for three things. Prayer is basically what is the remedy you are seeking from the court. So she requested for three things. First one was to declare her result. Second one, whatever the court deems fit as just and proper, they have to give that. And the third one, to recover all her legal cost, whatever she has spent to reach to the court, she wanted to recover everything from the institute. The conclusion, the court gave an extraordinary judgment. So the after looking at the findings, the court finally held that yes, the institute was liable. It said, as per Article 14, you did not give the principle of natural justice, that is, opportunity of being heard to the other person. Without giving that, you cancelled her result, which is arbitrary in nature, and hence that particular order, whatever the institute gave, that was quashed. That is, it was set aside. And the second thing, I'll read it out for you, which actually made more sense. And it actually gives us a question inside us what the court actually meant here, while hoping that in future the institute will not take any such action and take any criticism in positive stride. That is, in going forward in future, if someone expresses their opinion, the institute is believed to take it in a positive way rather than taking anything in a negative way. This court hastens to add that a professional body like the Respondent Institute, that is ICAI, should introspect, that is, question itself and ensure that its over enthusiasm of attaining professional excellence and endeavors of setting high standards of discipline should not silence, rather stifle the speech of a student or its member. That is, in order to achieve the extraordinary results or the professional excellence, you should not end up silencing your own students or members. They should be given a voice and you should self introspect yourself, is what the court said. The court also said whatever is the petitioner's legal fees, that is, it is around 20,000, that 20,000 should be paid by the institute to the student, and it has to be paid within 30 days. And this is the best part, my friends. And finally, that sealed envelope was opened, and Risha Lodha had cleared her exams. Yes, she had cleared, and the institute declared that, I mean, the court declared that the student has cleared her exams, and the institute should send her the marks sheet, whatever is the card, as well as they should update it on their website that this girl has cleared her exams. And finally, she cleared her CA inter, and she'll be appearing in her CA final. From this video, if she is watching this, I wish her all the best. And such a beautiful judgment given by Justice Dinesh Mehta, a predominant decision per se, because it made uh, the statutory bodies to think from a different perspective as well. So, a very extraordinary decision. And that's it from my end, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was uh, quite an eye opener, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.